Yo, what's good, boys? So in this video, I'm going to be actively sharing a little bit of information on kind of how I scaled in the beginning. This is obviously before I learned the outbound system that we're using right now to book in people, but this system still did help me, and it still did bring me a volume of appointments, which is all I needed in the beginning. Because look, if any one of you guys are like currently watching this video and you're just starting your agency, you understand that you guys need fucking appointments. And if you have no appointments, that means that no money is effectively coming into the business. So at the end of the day, this is the number one problem that we need to solve initially, so you guys can, one, get money into the business, and two, actively get experience in the business as well. So without further ado, we're gonna be kind of breaking down the whole structure of what I was doing right before I joined Blue Shirt Man, just so I could even save up enough money to even pay for that bullshit. So besides that, boys, let's get right into this fucking video. So we're gonna start off a little bit back in the story, right? You guys kind of know a bit of who I am, kind of what I've gone through, but this was right before I flew to Dubai, before I liquidated myself buying that bullshit and also getting the Airbnb and plane ticket and everything. But this is how I was initially making the money that actively got me out of my fucking shitty hometown, out of the environment that I was in, and here initially. Now, obviously, I'm just visiting. We're just back here for a little bit, but you guys know what I mean. When it comes down to actively freeing yourself from an environment, there are specific actions and steps that you must take. Now, with me, I liked thinking about making it very unreasonable, right? Most of you guys have a very, very, very weird way of thinking about appointment setting. There are a lot of people out there that they'll tell me they get 3, 4, 5 meetings a day, and they're wondering why they're not effectively scaling. Some people maybe get 5 to 10 meetings a week and then tell me, look, what is the issue? What is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is you do not have enough meetings whatsoever. So here's a perfect example of how to think about volume, because here's the biggest thing I think a lot of people struggle with is like how to actively be able to almost like consciously perceive that much volume, right? And for me, it was just understanding that if someone, maybe it takes them 20 sales calls to close one deal, right? And maybe takes them maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get that many sales calls in, then they're most likely gonna just close a deal every 2 to 3 weeks, right? I know people who get 20 to 30 calls a day. Now, this video is not gonna be kind of aimed around that. This video is just gonna be aimed around how to get like just a basic minimum 10 calls a day. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys literally make it unreasonable, you'll win without a shadow of a doubt. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people also just look at this business model as a risk, when it is, in fact, one, you betting on yourself, and two, a volume game at the end of the day. Seriously, if you guys have enough sales calls in front of you and you have zero to little experience whatsoever, I can guarantee you after enough volume, let's just say 50 sales calls straight, you're gonna get someone at the end of the day. So let's get into it. What I was doing when I first moved into my dad's house, so right after Albuquerque, and this is kind of like the first step that I would always recommend everyone to take. This was the first thing I had to do. And I know I talk about cold calling being the most low leverage bullshit of all time. I had to do it. I know guys who also cold called their way to 3, 4, 5K a month. So it's possible. It's just extremely low leverage. So that's what I was initially doing when I moved into my dad's back like around like a year and a half ago. Now, what did I think in my mind as I was cold calling, as I was maybe booking 3, 4, maybe 5 meetings in a single day? I started realizing that if I could duplicate myself, right? If I could duplicate the person that is sitting here and actively have 10 keywords all dialing at the same time, then wait a minute, it might actively book me more appointments. So I was thinking, well, all these guys in Blue Shirt Man's program, they're getting like 2 fucking appointments a day. I'm gonna be getting the same amount of shit as them, most likely. So I thought, okay, well, what if I just actively go and hire appointment setters? Now, I know you guys are probably watching this and you're like, well, how do I train appointment setters? Where do I even hire them from? How do I even go about speaking to someone, actively hiring them into my business and making sure it goes smoothly? This is my thought process behind it. I didn't think any of those thoughts. I just took action. I simply texted as many people as humanly possible. I made it unreasonable for me not to get appointment setters. at the end of the day. I know another guy who actively is in Fortune Consulting, and within the first, I think it was 2 to 3 days, he got 17 setters onboarded. Now, there's no excuses. Seriously, I was able to hire like 3 to 4 people a day, and that was just within my own ability to just go online, actively post, and try to find setters. Now, there's obviously so many communities out there, appointment setting communities, closing communities, that you guys can obviously just go and find setters in. Now, those are paid. The biggest recommendation that I would actively tell everybody watching is to go on Twitter, go to the search handle, type in appointment setter, and then go and actively find the appointment setters that are already looking for offers. This is a really good way to get your foot in the door as an agency owner, especially with someone who's already looking for active work. So yeah, boys, this is literally all I did. My ass would sit on Twitter, sit on Instagram, go into my old contacts, and I would just text. And you guys are probably wondering, well, Kiwa, how were you able to hire appointment setters to just cold call for you? Not get inbound leads, just cold call for you. Well, at the end of the day, when it comes down to team building, and this is like the biggest lesson I'm gonna give everybody watching this, like seriously, when it comes down to team building, you are not just an employer giving them a position and only talking to them about that on the call. Do you guys wonder why it takes maybe one person, a day to kind of crack the mental, the mental challenge of just being able to rip them out, and potentially why it might take another person, it might take them a week to be able to take action. So boys, when it comes down to seriously, when you think about it, someone taking action, right? Someone being able to actively sit down and book 10 meetings in a single day, right? Versus someone who can't. Seriously, think about this. When it comes from a coaching standpoint, not a training standpoint, you kind of see it differently. So when I would hop on calls with these guys every single day, and if you're watching this, there's still an active guy who, it's crazy. This dude is literally from India. But guess what? He fucking worked his ass off, and he's making more than 10K a month right now. But I'm gonna tell you guys, even with him, even with a majority of the team members that I've had, the biggest issues they had, obviously, in the beginning, were skill issues. So I know you guys are probably wondering as well, when it comes down to active team building, right? Actively getting someone to actively put in the inputs for you. Because look, there is a big difference between someone who obviously can put 10 meetings in a day for you off cold calls and someone who can't. And the biggest difference, in my opinion, between the two people that actively are doing the inputs and actively aren't is a literal mindset thing. So when you come from just a training perspective, right, and you're just trying to train these guys, and all you give a fuck about is how they're handling their objections on these calls and what their tonality is, and then you just hang up the call and you just have another training call the next day, and that's all you care about, I'm telling you, you're gonna have so many setters churn on you. When it comes down to training people actively, especially with me and what I had to do, because I was training people on how to cold call for me, they didn't have the inbound acquisition system that we're fucking running right now. They did not have that. They literally had to cold call. The only way I was able to kind of motivate them, kind of help them, and teach them how to actively build a skill so then they can actively, work with me in regards to the, inbound acquisition system was by fixing their fucking mindset. That's it. I'm serious, boys. When you are training people, you are not just training them, you are coaching them. You are coaching them on how to make their daily inputs almost easier. Because I'm not joking, boys. I was teaching my appointment setters how to basically hack their subconscious to make it easier for them to put in the inputs every single day. Isn't that crazy? How I understood that when someone wasn't putting in the inputs, obviously it's a skill thing. Obviously, they're having mental resistance, but where does that mental resistance stem from? It all stems from their subconscious, right? So every day I would hop on these calls, and I know you're probably watching this, bro, I'm talking about Tarun. And I remember I would hop on calls with everybody and I would just talk about obviously where they're at during the day, how many people they dialed, what was the main objection that they had, troubles with that day. But then the main thing I'm going to ask them, if they weren't putting in the inputs and if they're very honest with me about it, is what's behind that? Seriously, what is behind them not wanting to make a decision that they know is going to potentially, one, help them learn a skill, and two, grow them in business? Because for me, it wasn't even about just teaching these guys to obviously just be a setter. The majority of these guys knew that they had other opportunities ahead of them if they actively put in the work with me now, because they saw the active potential, right? So at the end of the day, when it comes down to structuring a team to actively cold call for you, which is what I'm basically telling a lot of you guys to do as of now, it really comes down to actively coaching people, Not just training them, but seriously coaching them. It also comes down to having a lot of consistency. When I used to take my active training calls with my setters, which I do not anymore, it was a daily occurrence. Every single fucking day. And I'm talking at the end of every single day. Weekends too, boys. I know some of you guys are still in the fucking matrix and you think that you guys can take the weekends off and not shoot out messages and, not hire people, maybe not take sales calls, but I'm telling you, on the weekends too, I was consistent. Every single day, I was training, I was coaching, I was making sure that they're dialing and that I'm dialing. Okay? And then once I officially jumped into Mr. Blue Shirt Man's bullshit, right? Like officially at the time, all of the guys that were doing incredible outbound, I just put them on the inbound system that I had started to learn. Now, obviously, was this inbound system even fully built out yet? No. What did I have to do? I had to literally re-fucking build this whole thing from basically scratch at the end of the day. Bro gave us a snapshot and that was it. So at the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, team building is one of the biggest things that is going to allow you to get from point A to point B very quickly as a beginner. Because if you guys are just sitting there, you guys are just cold calling, or you guys are just doing maybe any other sort of acquisition method whatsoever that's out there, cold email, cold SMS, cold DMs, whatever, right? And you are not actively hiring another person to also do the same exact copy paste inputs as you on a daily basis, then guess what? You will not scale. You could be a setter for yourself forever. But if you continue to do that forever, you will never fucking scale. I had to come down to terms that I was the best setter that I knew. I was able to book 10 meetings in a single day off cold calls on occasion, like pretty fucking consistently. But I knew for a fact that there was no way I was gonna get to the next position I wanted to get to just by my fucking self. Most people want to be a lone wolf in this game, which is cool. You can try to do that, but I'm telling you guys, when it comes down to it, you need a fucking team of killers. Now, what I will recommend in terms of vetting appointment setters as well, make sure they just have a good English accent. I know you guys are probably wondering, well, Kiwa, you're talking about an Indian that was working for you, now he's making 10K a month. Didn't he have an Indian accent? You know what's crazy? You know what's really interesting about this Indian guy? He understood that having the Indian accent, and look, if you think this is racist, then guess what? Try fucking cold calling with an Indian accent. It's gonna be fucked, okay? This dude seriously understood that that was actively a disadvantage for him. I'm not joking, and I know you're probably watching this, bro. You know what he did? He learned to actively speak English, like just better, just to articulate himself better. And how did he learn that? Did he go to school for that? No, bro literally told me he would sit down and watch TV shows and just speak back the lines over and over and over and over and over and over and over repetitively until he actively had that articulate ability to speak better on cold calls and sound a little more American. And I'm telling you boys, by the time this dude was 1, training my whole team, and 2, on top of that, booking in at least 10 meetings a day himself, he almost sounded exactly like me, which is another huge fucking component that you guys also need to include. When it comes down to your setter setting for you as well, do you want them to establish themselves ever as a setter? No. They're establishing themselves as the business owner, even if that means they're saying that they're a partner in the company. Because you guys also have to remember, if you're 1, already having to go through the trenches of fucking cold calling, and 2, you're already having to hire appointment setters to do it, you're gonna still need a lot of authority and a lot of familiarity to make sure these guys show up, right? You guys get the familiarity by just calling them up, getting touch points before the call, and actively shooting out a nice VSL for them to actively watch and understand before the call, right? To establish authority though, you need your setters to actively act like they are the business owner themselves. Now, where's that gonna come from? That's gonna come from a place of confidence. Most people, sadly, do not have confidence, which is why this entire video, and the whole reason I'm filming this entire video, is to tell you guys, when you are training your team members to start doing outbound acquisition for you, it is a mindset thing at the end of the day that will always prevent them from scaling up. That's it. It is obviously a skills thing, but the skills stem from the mindset you have, because you can't even go and take the necessary actions to actively acquire a skill if the entire reason why you're not taking actions is because you subconsciously just can't, right? If I can make it for almost an appointment setter, right? If I can make it subconsciously so easy for him to get up and dial and book 10 meetings in a single day, it almost as easy as if he was putting on fucking deodorant, right? You guys have to think about it like that. Like, it is gonna be almost as subconscious as you getting up and putting on deodorant and then just dialing and booking in 10 meetings. If you're able to help people in a way that makes them understand that the inputs can be easy, that the inputs can be fun, that it doesn't need to be hard to actively make more money, that can actively be a fun, enjoyable process, that they actively have, one, places to go with you in the company, and two, that they understand that you're here to, one, not just provide them with sales value, but provide them with all types of value. I was telling these guys, look, if you're interested in ever starting an agency in the future whatsoever, which I know you guys are potentially working towards, some of you, these calls are meant for me to potentially give you advice, so when you want to potentially partner up with me in the future, potentially, we can help you out. Do you see how I structure that? Do you see how every step of the way I was already thinking at least 3 to 4 steps ahead? That's how you have to be at the end of the day. So basically, boys, that's like the main problem that most people have, is when they just don't really know how to, one, kind of duplicate themselves in the company, and then two, obviously, when they figure that out, they're like, well, I have now limiting beliefs on training people. I've had so many people be like, well, how do I train someone if I've never trained them before? You do it. That's it. You do it. You get on a call and you show them how you've been able to book meetings and how you've been able to handle objections. And if they understand how to put in the necessary inputs and they have the right frame of mind when putting in the necessary inputs, then everything will move slowly. Now, here's another thing I have to tell you guys. When I'm talking about being unreasonable, and this is another thing that most people get wrong in the game, they'll hire 10 setters, all 10 will be shit, they'll fire all 10, and then they will never hire again. And then they'll just have a bad mindset towards hiring setters, okay? Most people have that. Most people have that frame of thinking where they'll hire 5, 10, maybe even 20 setters. And majority of those people will be shit, churn out, and that's it. And in the beginning, you guys understand, I didn't have that much capital. I had enough capital to invest in myself and the skills to actively get to the next position I wanted to get to, right? And thankfully, I knew that I was effectively betting on myself, but I did not have the money to go out and pay a sales agency to feed me fucking setters, quality ones. I had to go and do the fucking work, boys. That's it. I had to sit down and I had to fucking scrape setters every single day. Now, if you guys are thinking, well, how many setters did he will hire on a daily basis? 1, 2? No, I would hire like 5 to 10 people a fucking day. Like, some days was a little slower, but after I figured out that, wow, a majority of people just are actively lazy in the world, because it is honestly true, and that you do need to be kind of unreasonable with everything that you're doing in business, I just kept hiring. I just put my head down. And I believe it was like after I maybe hired like 25, 30 people, I found my boy Tarun. That was it. And then me and him ripped. I'm telling you guys could have one cracked team member that could actively, 1, train other team members, and 2, also set for you as well. And this one team member could literally allow you to completely, as long as he's actively committed, to completely take your mental real estate off of the appointment setting and then onto your show up rate and then onto your sales conversion rate, okay? Because you guys all understand mental real estate is extremely important, especially in the fucking agency space. And if your entire day and your entire mental real estate, you have like 5 hours, 6 hours of the day that all you're doing is just fucking appointment setting yourself, right? Obviously, I know of so many fucking agency owners that are doing that currently, that I'll actively encourage to do that are making money and are making progress. But the main goal that you guys need to be striving towards is to actively have an appointment setting team so you can let go of the acquisition process and focus all of your mental real estate on your show up rate and on your sales conversion rate. Because once you've let go of that one leg of the business and you're able to focus a lot of everything, your energy and attention and everything on these 2 other legs of the company, then you will scale effectively. You are going to get from point A to point B, okay? And then at point B, that's when we start, and then we go on to fully sales conversion rate. So you guys are also probably wondering, well, Kiwo, I don't have that much capital right now, or I don't have maybe the inbound acquisition system that you and everybody in Fortune is using. Okay, cool. You're probably wondering, Akiwo, you've told me that cold calling is low leverage. Well, it is. I'm not saying it's not low leverage. It is pretty fucking low leverage. The most I've seen someone make in a single month of cold calling is like 10K. And that was like they were doing 250 dials. That's all they were doing every single fucking day. But there are some little tricks and tips that I can actively give you guys that will make it a lot more effective to doing so. So first things first, there is a lead scraping tool out there that is called Data Miner. that I would highly recommend every single person watching this to actively use. Data Miner is a little extension on Chrome. If you guys look it up on Google, it's really fucking cool. That allows you to basically just scrape pages and pages and pages of local service-based businesses. That's it. It's fairly fucking simple. Now, when it comes down to obviously having a lead list, I know a majority of you guys might even have enough money to go and buy lead lists. Okay, when it comes down to scraping leads, that's not even the real issue here. And that's not even why I'm even bringing this up. The real issue here is the majority of the people that you guys call don't answer, right? Or they're maybe a VoIP number, or maybe it's just a straight landline that just is not their mobile phone. So they're just not really gonna be that active, right? A majority of you guys watching this most likely have a shit pickup rate. Especially if you're in the contracting niche. I know how many fucking receptionists you guys talk to on a daily basis. Trust me, I was there. I've been there. So how do we get past this? How do we get only mobile phone numbers to call? Direct mobile phone numbers. Well, there is a website out there called ClearOutPhone. It's fairly simple. All you do is you upload the lead of list. All you do is you literally upload that lead list to ClearOutPhone that you've gotten from Data Miner. It has to be a CSV. And this website will literally allow you to clear out all of the landlines and VoIP numbers, right? That would not be an active mobile number, okay? This allows 1, your pickup rate to be higher, which will allow 2, your appointment booking rate to be higher, which will then 3 will obviously get you more fucking bookings, and then 4, so guys, now that we've kind of talked about ClearOutPhone and how to actively get a good list of people to actively dial, which I know a lot of you guys should hopefully be taking action on right now. We need to make sure that these people, 1, stay consistent, and 2, we need to make sure that we have a social hierarchy in the appointment training process. So boys, now that we've talked about ClearOutPhone and how to actively, implement a software to make sure that our lead list isn't going to be completely fucking chopped, we need to talk about how to actively churn out setters that are not doing well. Now, there's a very specific way I actively do this, and it's not just me texting them, hey man, I gotta let you go. Every day that we have that call, I'm holding everybody accountable to the T. If someone's not putting in the work and they're refusing to put in the work, I will fire them publicly in front of everybody else. And this will show, I don't have to be a fucking asshole when I'm doing, but this will show that I want killers on the team. I don't want people that obviously, no matter what, just won't take my advice. I want people that are willing to listen, willing to understand, and willing to maybe see the world from a different perspective. But closed-minded people that don't give a fuck and that want to keep doing things their way rather than learning it your way are the worst types of people you would ever have to work with. And I would highly recommend that you churn them as quickly as you fucking hire them. A lot of people will hire on a bunch of setters and then feel almost uncomfortable towards firing people. You're a fucking business owner at the end of the day. You need to make money. So at the end of the day, it's you or them. And if you want to keep them on the team and keep them fucking there, wasting your leads, wasting your time, wasting your energy, you can. But for me, I just didn't give a fuck at the time. Because I couldn't. I was in such a shit position. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna hire people on, and if they don't want to put in the work, I'm firing them the same fucking day. But you know what's amazing about this structure? When you do this and you actively have someone putting in the work, and you actively have someone that's committed, and you actively have someone that understands where they're gonna get to in this position, that person is like the golden person on that call. And you make them understand that. You acknowledge that. You acknowledge the fact that they're fucking putting in the work. That they're calling everybody in the CRM and that they're getting the money out of it. And all the other guys, they're sitting and they're watching all the money being collected from that CRM, and they could call up the leads, but they're just not wanting to at the end of the day, right? So it's like when you can actively establish that on calls every single day, every single fucking day, dude, it's fucking crazy. The social, it's fucking crazy. The way you can structure things on calls, especially with your team, as long as you do it correctly, if you can actively have a guy at the top doing everything, or if you can actively acknowledge someone's worth on a call that's actively putting in the work, they will stay with you forever. Obviously, they will stick by your side no matter what, because at the end of the day, you're here to help people. Hopefully you guys aren't here just to take contractors or detailers money and just scam them. Hopefully you guys are here to help people. And at the end of the day, I'm here to help people that want to be helped. That's it. I can lead a horse to water. I can't force him to drink. I've presented the opportunity to set for me, from my own agency, to almost now thousands of fucking people. And it's so crazy how there's only been a select few who really, 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 really took that position and actively got to the next level with working with me. And it all comes down to just understanding where you're gonna get to, where you're gonna go, what type of person you are. And if you can reframe that in someone's mind and make them understand that they are capable and they can do the inputs that you are not demanding of them, but that you are basically giving to them, right? It's just giving them an opportunity. And if they want to actively take action on it, they can. But if you can really establish that in someone's mind, I'm telling you guys, you're going to win. You're gonna have the best sitting team on fucking earth. And when it comes down to obviously setting, right? When it comes down to cold calling, you guys do not need to be doing that forever, okay? I was doing it only up until I joined Mr. Blue Shirt Man's program. And then he taught me, he didn't really teach me, but he gave me like an acquisition system that wasn't even his, that he never even used, from another guy in his program that was already running it. It's funny enough, I actually know who the dude is, and I have a lot of respect for him as well because he actively had to go figure this out himself. But then I kind of reinvented the whole thing, included, appointment setters in the whole process. And in a sense, now all I'm able to do is just shoot out outbound messages, wait for positive replies, and have my appointment setters call them up and book them in. That is like the fucking peak. That's like peak for everybody watching. If you guys are able to imagine you guys are able to shoot out 2,000 or 3,000 messages tomorrow, any sort of message. It could be SMS, DMs, emails, and actively get a good positive reply rate, at least 5 to 10%. If you guys were able to do that, the amount of inbound leads that would be coming to you on a daily basis would hopefully be so much that you would not be able to handle. So much to the point where you would have to have quality appointment setters calling up those positive replies and booking them in, right? But at the end of the day, most of you guys do not have an acquisition like that so far, right? And this video is for people that are actively in the agency space, but don't know how to actively get themselves out of the whole appointment setting role. Let's just say you guys already have this outbound acquisition system that I'm talking about that creates, kind of an inbound process of leads coming in, right? If you guys already have something like this and you've been watching this video thus far, you need to hire appointment setters ASAP, and you need to use every single tenet that I talked about in this fucking video to a T, okay? Because I'm telling you guys, if you are able to do that, you will effectively scale. You will effectively put one leg of the business completely, not fully behind you, but you'll be able to get it off your shoulders even a decent amount, okay? Your mental real estate, instead of a good 30 to 40% of the time having to focus on this, we'll fucking chunk down. It will chunk down. Okay? And I'm telling you guys, mental real estate, especially in business, is probably one of the most important things that you could have. A lot of people just don't have a lot of space in their mind. Their mind is constantly filled with clutter and bullshit, and they can't even focus on all of these different legs in the company. Once you've cleared out your mind, you're kind of in the business fully, you'll understand that mental real estate is so fucking important. And if you're able to fully delegate one leg of the business off, then you will effectively scale, because where is your intention and focus now going to? Onto other legs of the business that actively move the needle forward quicker, okay? That's all it is. So when it comes down to it, if you are cold calling or if you are using any sort of inbound acquisition process, please, for fuck's sake, you have to hire an appointment setting team. That's it, at the end of the day. Now, I know a lot of you guys may be watching, you're like, well, why don't you just implement AI instead of having a setter call up these guys and actively book them in? Well, I would have, actively. I literally would have. You guys don't think I would have been using appointment-wise? But guess what? I was poor and I was broke. And some of you guys watching right now, you guys might not have, that much capital. I was like fucking on the edge, $2,000 in my bank. Enough for go high level, enough for, messaging costs, and enough for food. And that was it. Had the plane ticket booked, had the Airbnb, landed in Dubai, and then I ripped it. And that was it. I already had a setting team ready to go. I already had guys qualified. I already had guys that I knew could dial all day and had the mental capacity to doing it, to doing so. So when I actively found an inbound acquisition system that a lot of people were using just incorrectly, right? I mean, I think there was obviously the guy who made it was using it pretty well, but everybody in Mr. Blue Shirt Man's shit was just using it incorrectly. I realized, well, what if we make it unreasonable? We put out so much volume that the amount of positive replies that are going to come back is going to be disgusting. And then 2, we put the outbound setters that I had on this inbound acquisition process along with me, because I know my ability. And that's why within the first, I believe it was 72 hours of me being in Dubai, I made $13,000. Now, the sigh of relief was pretty fucking heavy. I'm not joking, boys. I was like, whew, let's get a steak. Let's get it. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys are running any one of these systems that I'm talking about on this call, hiring appointment setters is going to be one of the biggest things that is actively going to help you get out of the position that you're in your agency and get to the next level. And that's it. Okay, so boys, that's basically the complete system that I was actively using right before I fucking popped in Dubai. Literally a second before. This is literally like the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to me actively just booking that ticket and just flying out there. So when it comes down to doing something like this, I'm gonna give you guys actionable steps right now to do in this video. And if you don't, then you're honestly a lazy fucking bum. And I don't know what to fucking tell you. And you deserve to just keep scrolling on YouTube and keep watching my content. Always be the spectator and never the guy actively playing in the game, okay? So if you guys actively take action on the steps I'm gonna give you right now, you will make more money as a consequence. 1, go to fucking Twitter. I want you guys all, everybody watching this video, to be hiring appointment setters every single fucking day. 2, okay, you need to be using Go High Level's Power Dialer. The Power Dialer on Go High Level. You do not want your fucking appointment setters to be calling on their phones at all times. No, you guys need to be actively reviewing these guys' appointment setting calls and even making sure that they're doing the dials. People fucking lie, okay? So that's the second thing, obviously, is just use a good quality CRM. Obviously, you could use, there's another one, close.com. It's pretty good. But I'd say Go High Level is honestly the fucking peak of everything. But number 3, boys, is going and actively, 1, using Data Miner to scrape the list of leads that you actively need, and 2, going and clearing out all of these leads so you're not calling up some bullshit, okay? Because I know you guys have been doing that for a while. And even if you guys are using an inbound acquisition system, if you're not clearing out these leads, you're probably still wasting a fuck ton of time. Because I'm telling you guys, the amount of fucking leads you're gonna clear out from this list when you use Clear Out Phone it's pretty fucking hefty. So yeah. But yeah, boys, if you guys seriously follow the system, the kind of steps that I've laid out in this video, which were the exact same actionable steps that I was taking a year and a half ago before I fully scaled my fucking agency, you guys are gonna make it. You guys are gonna win at the end of the day. You guys are gonna make it unreasonable for you not to win. But at the end of the day, some people just don't wanna do that. Some people just rather just keep doing what they've been doing, which is fine. But if you actively wanna make a change, the first thing I would recommend you do in this video is 1, just take action in everything I'm telling you. And when I say take action, I mean take it to the next level. There's guys out there that watch my YouTube channel and they'll maybe take some of the advice, maybe 30% of the way. I've had guys hit me up on Instagram and have told me that they've made 5 to 10K within 30, maybe 45, 60 days of actively starting to watch my content, actively starting to implement everything in it. And it's very interesting is because they took my educational, and obviously not my vlogs, my educational content to the next extreme. The next extreme. 2 clients have actually in mind. And they were cold calling, and they were both, I believe, they were consistently hitting. It was a little more than 10K a month. I believe it was like 8 to 7K a month, which is fucking insane. I was a DT and washi, and right before they joined my program, they were cold calling, and they were fucking grinding. These guys would sit indoors and just dial. That was it, just dial. But when they joined my program, they learned the inbound acquisition system that I was using. So why do you feel like they made 30 to 40K in their first month? It's fairly simple. Now, this entire video is not a fucking sales VSL to get you to join my coaching. We're not even accepting members right now. If you want to join, you can apply and we'll see if you're even a good fit. The whole point of this video is for you guys to take actionable steps to get you to the next level. And that's it. That doesn't mean you have to work with me. You can work with anybody in the space that actively has good results. But the main thing is that you guys need to stop doing what you've been doing and actively make a drastic change. Because if you guys want to get fucking drastic results, you guys are going to be needing to take drastic actions. And that requires 5 to 10 appointment setters a day being hired. Always. Consistently. Hundreds of calls being made a day. Hundreds. And when you get to the next level, thousands of outbound messages a day. Not just a couple hundred, thousands. Because I remember when Blue Shirt Man shit, they were shooting out like 200 or 300 and it was fucking stupid. It was retarded. I was like, boys, let's do 4K tomorrow. People would be like, oh, what? No, wow, dude, you're gonna break your agency. I remember, oh bro, this is so funny. I remember when I was in Dubai for like it was like the second time, this fucking guy in Eric's program told me that if I kept doing what I was gonna do, I was gonna break my agency. I was gonna break it. I was gonna completely shatter it. Little does he know, off the only the back end of my agency in upsells, I made 20K in the last month, just off back end upsells, not even on new clients signed, boys. So when it comes down to breaking your agency from doing too much volume, that's a limiting belief. And guess where he is still? Making, I believe, still less than like 10 a month in total. It's like, come on. It's been like 2 years. So at the end of the day, boys, if you guys want to go slow, you guys can go slow. You guys can take the slow route. You guys can do one step at a time, you know? That's fine. There's lots of people that do that. And then there's people like fucking me, Marco, Zeke, people that sprint. Aditya, Ziad, these guys fucking sprint. They sprint, and they want to make it unreasonable for them to fucking win. They need it to be unreasonable. They had to make it unreasonable. I had to make it unreasonable. Hopefully some of you guys have to as well. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to a choice. That's it. For me, I needed to. I had to. I didn't want to. A lot of you guys want to. A lot of you guys look at the lifestyle and you just want it. If you really need it, you're going to get it. That's really it, boys. Also, when it comes down to being unreasonable, this is another tenet that I had placed in my mind that was it was unshakable. I had to have it. I had to have it. I knew that if I had this in place, it was over. I was gonna win. Like I said, there were people out there that were getting 3 appointments a week, 4 appointments a week. And I remember there's a video out there. It's on Blue Shirt Man's YouTube channel if you guys want to go check it out, of me booking 30 cold calls, right? And me booking 30 meetings in a day with cold calls, right? That's what he said. You know what's really funny? First of all, the entire video is a lie. Shocker, the entire video is cap. The whole video is a fucking lie. I didn't book in 30 meetings myself with cold calls. Eric didn't do that shit either. Maybe he booked in like 3, 4 in front of us, and I booked in like maybe 3, 4. My setters were fucking going crazy that day. But you guys are probably wondering, well, 30 meetings in a single day, how the fuck is that even possible? How do you even have that on one calendar? Well, there's something I want to show you guys. It's called double booking. And I'll give you guys a really good example of this here in a second. So boys, when it comes down to actively, putting in the volume, I kind of want to give you guys a visualization of what it would kind of look like. So just let me show you here. This is what a day in a life looked for me back in the day. Fairly simple. I would literally wake up and I'd go crazy every fucking day. I was double booked to the fucking schmacks. Always had meetings. Always had so many fucking meetings. It was unreasonable for me not to win. Now, it gets even crazier as I scroll. You guys are gonna see some days where it literally is like I'm triple booked some days. And you guys have to understand, my sleeping block was like 5 hours long. It was like nothing at the end of the day. You're gonna be set. Because if you guys have, like, seriously, this many fucking meetings in a single day, you're gonna close. As long as you have at least a 30 to 40% show up rate, you're gonna fucking close. So when it comes down to it, boys, it really comes down to, obviously, team building, making it unreasonable, and also having the right inputs. Please just don't call people off Google. Use the softwares I talked about in this video. I've watched so many agency owners come and go with this shit mindset of, I'm gonna just go slow and slowly build it up. Month over month, let's hit 2K, then let's hit 3K a month, then let's hit 4K. Fucking pussy bullshit numbers, okay? You could grow that way. You could be a Charlie Morgan and it could take you 3 fucking years to make 30K a month. But I'm guaranteeing you that mindset will just limit you from making more money. Because if you think that it's gonna break your agency, it's most likely gonna break your agency, because how you perceive things is how they are, always. And I just knew in the back of my mind that I was gonna be fine. And this other guy didn't. He thought it was not gonna be fine. And he just kept doing what he was doing, and he didn't make changes, and I believe he kept acting in accordance with who he is. And well, that's why I don't see him doing nearly the amount of shit that me, Marco, and Zeke are doing. And there's no hate towards me and him. It's obviously just an inputs thing at the end of the day. Seriously. And if you're watching this, bro, take my advice right now. Still. Like, dude, I'm fucking here. You know who I am, and I know who you are too. You were in Dubai with me, bro. And it's like, you could still take the advice that I'm giving. But if you want to just keep doing what you've been doing. Besides that, boys, we're going to kind of conclude this video here. Please leave a comment in the description if you actively found value in this video and if you actively are going to take action. If not, I actively will tell you to scroll off the video and just fuck off. Go watch some Brez Scales vlog, okay? Go watch some bullshit out there that's not going to actively help you. But I'm telling you guys, yes, I've had some vlogs, but in a majority of my videos, I'm gonna give you guys actionable steps to take. And if you guys don't take them, then don't even try to wonder why you're still in the same position, because I think you guys all know. Besides that, boys, let's fucking kill it. I want to see people in the description. Seriously, I want to see people in the description saying, yeah, I hired fucking 20 setters this week, bro. I'm about to rip. Because that shit gets me motivated, seriously. But besides that, boys, if you obviously are potentially interested in working with me, you can apply in the description below. We are not taking on any new members as of now. We are only having applications come in because one, we are having a very, very, very strict vetting process with every single person that joins. We don't want, people that don't have kind of the frame of mind as everybody else in the community, right? We literally have to have killers in this community. I do not want fucking pussies in this goddamn community. So when it comes down to that, if you guys are interested actively, you guys can go into the description, fill that out. It's fine. If not, it is what it is. The most important thing though is that you guys actively take action on everything I'm fucking saying. If I see people in the comments saying they got 20 setters this week, they're fucking booking 10, 15 meetings a day, I'm gonna be fucking proud. Even if you're not in my program, I'm gonna be fucking proud of you because that's the same shit I had to do. And I understand it. I understand the same mental frame. So yeah, boys, besides that, we'll conclude the video. If you guys obviously are interested, go in the description. If not, it's fine. Just take fucking action. That's the most important part. Make decisions differently in accordance with who you want to be. Besides that, boys, I'll see you guys in the next video.